Let's get paid, y'all. Live dogs in the mix.
What's up, guys? Live Dogs in the Thing here. This is UFC 313. What had happened was. If you're new here, I try to do these after every pay-per-view, or when we do exceptionally good, which is most days, our weekends, or when we do exceptionally bad, which has happened once before. And basically, I just go over the card a little bit, recap with you. We'll talk about some of the bets. Everything hit this week. We hit the lock. That makes us 7 locks in a row. That makes us 7-1. We hit the underdog. That makes us 7-1, 7 in a row. We hit the main event pick, which is 7 in a row, 7-1. Guys, who's doing this? Who is giving you an underdog lock every single time? If you put $100, let's just say every lock I gave you was plus 100. If you put $100 on those 7 locks, you would have what, $1,400? I'm not very good at math, but man, you'd be killing it, and I'm killing it. So we're doing great this year. Stick with me, and I'm going to make you some money. But before I start getting into all that, let's just go over a quick recap, okay? So the first fight, we had Diaz versus Santos. Now, if you watch my early quick picks video, I did pick Santos. I'm sorry, I did pick Diaz. I ended up flipping to Santos because I just felt like it's a low-level card, and I didn't really want to take a risk on an underdog that I really didn't have the faith in. So I flipped to Santos. I'm going to call this a full sweep. Technically, we went 9-10, but I believe we went 10-10 because I think Santos won that fight. He definitely thought he won the fight, which sucks for him, right? He was landing better, landing more. And yeah, so I gave him the first 2 rounds. But it was a close fight, and at the end of the day, we didn't put no money on it, so, who cares? It was a good fight, though. I will give them that. And I'd like to see them both back. And I do think that Diaz needed that win more, so, it is what it is. And then we had Santos and Marshall. That fight was fun. I thought that Francis Marshall won. But, I'll take the robbery because I did pick Santos, and I did have Santos in a parlay. Vegas really doesn't care about wrestling. They need to get it together, okay? Wrestlers are so good at this sport. They've dominated so much that they've actually went and changed the rule set a few years ago to try to favor takedowns less. Still hasn't helped, guys. So, I know if it's going to be a close fight and it's wrestling heavy guy, he's probably not going to win. Now, I didn't know that here because I thought Francis would also strike with him, and he did. And I believe he dropped him in in the first round. So Francis won, but we'll take the Santos. We'll take the Santos hit. But I did say in my breakdown that Francis would be live and that he's ever improving. So even though it was a robbery, we did get it right, and I was right in the breakdown as well. And then we had Morano versus Carlos Leal. One of the best fights of the card. They were just swinging, man. It looked like, some early 2000s MMA. Moreno, I just think, didn't really respect Carlos Leal. Something he saw was like, dude, I can hurt this guy. I'm just going to go in there and get it done. And he looked all right at first, but Carlos Leal just hit a little harder and went to the body a little more, and eventually he got to finish up against the cage. Leal was a good pick, of course. I did think this fight would go a little further, but hey, great fight as well. Bruno Silva, I put out Magomed Ankalaev as my lock, my 7th lock, and that did hit, and we will get to it. But a lot of people, he had already flipped to a favorite, which I knew he would. So I put out another dog for you. I did not put it on my TikTok. This is just on my Facebook. You got to follow me on all social media platforms. I'm on Instagram, I'm on TikTok, I'm on YouTube, I'm on everything. And I put out Bruno Pereira. I thought he would get a KO. He got a submission. I couldn't believe it. I wish I hit the prop on that. That was badass. I put out 2. I also put out Justin Gaethje as another dog because I wanted to give y'all 2 since, a lot of people couldn't jump on those odds. Man, so I'm not going to claim that my underdog picks, my underdog locks are 9 in a row now because we only do 1 and Magomed was it. But if I wanted to, I could tell you, man, I mean, I put now 3 on this card and they hit. I'm just that good. I am the best, one of the best MMA predictors in this space. I am probably the best kept secret. So I hope you're going to follow me, pay attention, and see what we're doing, okay? Because we're killing it this year. But enough about me. Let's talk about Joshua Van. Joshua Van, I said in my breakdown he was going to hurt this kid. And he didn't. I mean, he did, but I thought he'd finish him. He didn't. Bad look for Van. I really thought he should have got a finish. But he showed that his wrestling is improving. He showed that he still got those hands and can still hurt you. And this fight got less competitive as it went because Ray kept coming with the same submission, the same grappling entries. And Van was able to time those. So, but Ray Teixeira showed that he belonged, and that's cool. Then we had a really nice spinning back 360 KO kick by Hoofy. We all knew Hoofy was going to get that win, but damn, he really showed us why he was such a big favorite. Spinning 360 kick, whatever you call it, to the head. Bobby Green goes down. Sad to see, but what a kick, right? It was phenomenal. I want to see Bobby Green versus Michael Johnson. I think it's perfect. Michael Johnson is like 35-40 in the rankings, and Bobby Green is like 19-23. But so that's why the fight makes sense, because Johnson's on a 2-fight win streak. Bobby's on a 2-fight skid now. But that would be a perfect fight. They're both swingers, man. They both come to fight. There'd be a lot of stand-up exchanges, and it would be a really cool fight. So I think that's the next one to do. And then we had Turner Ignacio. Oh no, we had Lemos. Lemos won. We always knew that was going to happen. I picked flip to her. I did have Lucindo at first, but then I just looked at the skill set, looked at the ages, and I think that Lucindo, it's too much too soon for her. So Lemos was always going to win. That's another underdog we got. Turner Ignacio. I picked Ignacio, and I parlayed him. Didn't expect the submission, but he's always improving as well. Hey, what can you say, man? That was cool as hell. Then we had Justin and Fazeev. Another one I flipped on. Guys, I usually don't flip this much, but my first look is just that. I'm just looking and I'm just kind of going over it. Then I do a little bit of tape study. I'll tell you this, I don't watch a lot of tape. That's for another video. But I look at stats. I look at their last fights. And sometimes I go over and jog my memory and look at different things on tape for sure. And I realized that Justin Gaethje was landing that uppercut a lot on Fazeev. And Justin Gaethje, he did get cracked by Max Holloway, but that's Max Holloway, man. I just had a feeling we're going to see vintage Gaethje, and we did. Badass fight. Let's get the Hooker fight rebooked. Or if Gaethje is going to really be climbing the ladder, give him Arman. If you're going to make Arman fight, I think Arman should get the title the title fight because he is the number one contender. If not, Arman is live. I mean, Arman would be a great fight for Justin Gaethje. Or Dan Hooker, we could rebook it. Or maybe Dan Hooker wants to slum it and give us a Rafael Fazeev fight. That'd be cool too. So, yeah. And then that takes us to the main event. I got a lot of haters. I got a lot of crybabies, man. I told y'all. And I'm loving it. I love the cope. The cope it is amazing. I couldn't wait for it, and I got it. And I hope it continues for quite a while. I told y'all Alex Pereira was not going to win this fight. Like almost a year ago. I told you I think he was avoiding this man. And now we see why. And the fight was boring according to the casuals. But people who know what they're watching, we loved it. I believe Demetrius Johnson, Mighty Mouse, he watched the fight. He scored it 4-1. Tom Aspinall also watched the fight, said it was a great fight. And actually said if you don't know, if you thought it was boring, you don't know what you're watching. And he's right. What was so great about it is Magomed was able to neutralize Alex Pereira everywhere. He beat him in the clinch. He beat him on the cage. He outstruck him. Did he get all of the takedowns? No, he didn't get any. But guys, he didn't want all those takedowns. He used those to put Alex where he wanted. Cracked him really good at the end of the second. And we did it, man. I mean, that fight was... I bet on that way back, man. I always saw that coming. And if they do a rematch, he'll knock him out. He will knock him out. It's not going to get any better for Alex. So if that's hard for y'all to swallow, sorry, but it is what it is. It is what it is. We talk about facts here. We talk about skills here. We're trying to make money. We're trying to make bets. So the fanboy stuff has to go out the window, okay? So, yeah, that's it, man. I thought Alex got neutralized. I did score it 3-2, but I could see the 4-1. So, guys, we did great. Another underdog, another main event pick. the train keeps rolling, and roll with me, please. Let's do even better on the next one. I'll
Let's
see you.
get paid, y'all. Live dogs in the mix.